Fall is upon us. The kids are back in school, the leaves are turning golden, pumpkin spice is in the air, and a new season of anime is about to begin. Welcome once again to Musings by Danon. Today we'll be looking at a variety of anime from the upcoming season. As always, I've read the source material for many of these, so I can give you a bit of perspective on what to expect. Now, just because a manga is good doesn't mean the anime will be good. Looking at you, Change Soldier. Also, before we get into it, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and it's free. Let's start off with the sequels, because there are a lot of them. I won't spend a ton of time on each, because if you know, you know, and if you don't, you probably weren't that interested in the first place. Bleach is continuing the 1,000-year Blood War arc, as well as cleaning up some of the pacing issues that crop up in long-running weekly shonen manga. Tite Kubo is reminding all the kids why you put some respect on his name, and why Bleach was one of the big three. A title that has not been replaced, nor will it, no matter what other anime YouTubers may say. A lesser-known one that I'm very excited for is Seirei Gensosuke Spirit Chronicles Season 2. Season 1 ended on a massive cliffhanger, and I am so happy we're finally getting a Season 2. I actually have the entire series in my wishlist on Bookwalker, but I haven't had the time to pick it up. For those who don't know, this is an isekai where they took Truck-kun to the extreme. An entire bus was smashed by a train. Our main character experiences a great deal of body dysmorphia, and he discovers he's not the only one who got isekai'd. Also, time seems to work differently, as he's been in this world for several years by the time Season 1 ended, while others who were on the same bus arrived earlier or later. We're also getting a Season 2 of the best Sword Art Online series, Alternative Gun Gale Online, or GGO. I really need to do a video about this series in depth, because I love how it explores the concept of escapism used in both a positive and a negative manner. We'll have to see what this season is all about, but I'm hoping we explore similar concepts. For those who haven't seen it, our main girl is a 6-foot-tall Japanese girl who has always felt awkward and gangly. She's always longed to be small and cute. One day, a friend of hers introduces her to the concept of virtual reality, massively multiplayer online games, or VR MMOs. She tries a few, gets freaked out at the character creation, to the point of having panic attacks when one game makes her a 2-meter-tall elf, and eventually settles on Gun Gale Online. Why? Because her character's 4'9". Finally, she can experience being small and cute. Finally able to experience it for the first time since elementary school, Karen, or Len as her character name is called, starts becoming more confident with her real body. This is a healthy and therapeutic form of escapism. However, our main antagonist is the exact opposite. Her reason for escaping into VR MMOs is toxic and self-destructive. I won't go into the details here, but I will say that GGO is the best of the SAO series. If you hated SAO, do not bring that hate here for this anime. I'm very excited for the sequel to GGO. Next up, one of my favorite trash isekai, Ari Furueta from Commonplace to World's Strongest, is getting a 3rd season. This anime is the king of edgelord and is a lot of fun. I can't take this series seriously, and it is actively bad. But it is fun and has some cool moments. I loved when the dragon was exposed as a masochist, and now the main character tortures her by not hurting her. I also loved when the main character just starts casually murdering other humans who betrayed him or hurt his friends. Now, even though this series is bad, it is a lot of fun. Just turn your brain off and enjoy the aesthetic of destruction and big guns in a fantasy series. Speaking of anime that are more fun than good, Dungeon Meshi is getting a Season 5. The full title is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? But that's such a mouthful that everyone just calls it Dungeon Meshi. For those who haven't watched, it is the story of a young adventurer, Belle, who goes into the dungeon for fame and fortune. As a child, his grandfather told him that the best way to get girls is to save one in the dungeon. She will immediately fall in love with him. Of course, Belle gets saved by a girl and falls in love with her. The rest of the series is about Belle trying to become worthy of her, a valiant and proper effort for any man. Don't ask why women don't like you. Transform yourself into someone that women want to be with. I'm not talking about money or being in shape. Don't try to be one of those alpha bros. But focus on bettering yourself every day and make yourself into someone who provides things for others, and things will start falling into place. Getting back on track, Bell does seem to be getting closer to his beloved idol, Eyes Wallenstein, but he's not quite there yet. He does accidentally get himself a harem, though. But Bell stays true and is focused on his goal. I'm anime only for this series, so I'm excited to watch Season 5 blind. Another series I'm anime only for is the big one that everyone is excited for, Re:Zero Season 3. Considered one of the greatest isekai by many, it certainly belongs in isekai royalty. There is no doubt that this one is one of the best isekai series. For those who haven't watched, Subaru suddenly finds himself in another world talking to a fruit vendor. He meets a cute girl, helps her find a lost item, and is murdered. Then he wakes up in front of that same fruit vendor. Subaru has the ability to return from death. Why he has this ability and what it means for those around him is a mystery that is only answered by careful watching of the series. If you're careful about which isekai you watch, because, in all fairness, a lot of them are trash, but we love them anyway, this one is one of the good ones. And while the new Ranma 1/2 isn't exactly a sequel, as a remake I felt it should go into this section. Ranma 1/2 is a classic series written and drawn by the legendary Rumiko Takahashi, one of the most influential mangaka of all time. Don't believe me? Allow me to list her accomplishments. She sold over 200 million manga, making her one of the best-selling authors of all time. Not manga artists, authors. Let's put it this way. Tolkien has an estimated 250 million books sold, and he's been on the shelf for 50 years longer. Additionally, she's the recipient of numerous awards and has had not one, not two, but 4 of her manga adapted into anime. My Son Koku, Inuyasha, Odyssey Yatsura, and Ranma 1/2. For those who don't know, Ranma 1/2 is the story of Ranma, a boy trained in his family's school of anything-goes martial arts. One day, while training in the mountains, he fell into a magic pool. Now, whenever he's splashed with cold water, he turns into a girl. But hot water changes him back into a boy. It is considered by many, myself included, to be the origin of the harem genre. But unlike a lot of modern harems where the main character is a cardboard cutout so lonely weebs can self-insert, Ranma is a well-rounded character, as are the rest of the characters in this delightful and classic manga. Okay, so I did want to talk about some of the new anime coming out based on series I've read. Let's start with Dandadan. Drawn by Yukinobu Tatsu, a former assistant to the legend himself, Tatsuki Fujimoto, Dandadan tells the story of a group of teenagers who wind up with superpowers. But I'm underselling it. This manga has one of the best, most realistic romances in shonen manga, but romance isn't the focus. Rather, the focus is on 2 kids who both believe in the supernatural and firmly believe the other person is wrong. Okarun, the class loner, is convinced aliens exist. Ayase thinks aliens are fake, but is convinced that ghosts and curses exist. In order to prove each other wrong, Ayase goes to an abandoned hospital known for alien sightings, while Okarun goes to a haunted tunnel. As it turns out, they are both right. Ayase gets abducted by aliens, and Okarun gets haunted. This is all in the first chapter of the manga, and should be the first episode of the anime as well. This series is a blast. Good story, great characters, awesome world building, everything you want from a shonen action series. Next up, Blue Box is an adorable and soft romance about a badminton boy in love with a basketball girl. Chinatsu Kano is a second year at Emi Senior High School and the star of the basketball club. Taiki Inomata is a first year, but he's been watching Chinatsu for over a year now. You see, the school they go to is a combined junior and senior high school, so when he was a third-year high school student, he saw her practicing. Tears of frustration in her eyes after their team failed to make nationals. She inspired him. Here she was after her team had lost, practicing for next year. Next year, she'll be better. They'll make it. Every morning she's the first one at the gym, and every evening she's the last one to leave. Seeing this caused Taiki to be in awe of her. Eventually, those feelings became romantic as well. How can you not love someone that you're cheering for? Someone who inspires you to do your best every day. Well, one day he hears that Chinatsu's parents are moving to America for work. Fortunately, Chinatsu's mom is friends with Taiki's mom. They were in the basketball club together in high school. And so Chinatsu is now staying with the Takis. Talk about awkward. To not make things weird, Taiki decides to bury his feelings. After all, it wouldn't be fair to Chinatsu if the son of the family she's staying with was forcing his feelings on her. That would make her uncomfortable, and Taiki wants to make her feel welcome. But Chinatsu isn't dumb. She figures out something's up, and this awkward tension is the crux of our story. Two kids trying their best at their respective sports while also trying to figure each other out. I don't normally read sports manga, but this one is cute and fluffy, so I recommend checking it out. Finally, the last one I intend to watch, but you may not enjoy, is The Healer Who Was Banished from His Party is in fact the strongest. Yep, it's another one of those. If you've ever had the autistic fantasy of revenge via success, you'll enjoy this series. Our main character gets kicked out of his party for being useless, only for them to realize how much of a badass he really was. He parties with a young girl who, of course, has feelings for him, and together they defeat all the monsters. This series is fun, but will probably wind up in the trash bin of Mother's basement. While I am reading over 600 manga and light novel series, I haven't read everything. So here are a few that have caught my eye that I want to check out. Uzumaki is a painstakingly beautiful adaptation of the classic horror manga drawn by the legendary Junji Ito. This man is considered one of the best horror mangaka of all time, and Uzumaki is one of his most famous works. Adaptations of his works have been done in the past, but they fell flat compared to the absolute terror he's able to put on the page. We'll have to see how good this adaptation is. Next up, I'm also interested in 365 Days Till the Wedding. The office our two main characters are working at needs to send someone overseas. To Siberia. Obviously, the company would prefer to send single people. Takia and Rika are both single, but enjoy their introverted lives at home. They both have fulfilling hobbies and do not wish to have them interrupted. The solution? They marry each other. Will love blossom from this fake relationship? Will they be found out? Who knows? But yeah, they probably will fall in love. This is the romance genre, after all. You Are Mrs. Servant is another one I've had my eye on for a while. It's been sitting in my to-be-read pile for years. A young man named Hitso suddenly has a maid come and live with him. She's not a very good maid, but she's an amazing assassin. If you like stories about kudereis who start to feel emotions for the first time, you should check this one out. Next up, an interesting take on the villainous isekai genre, All Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History. After being truck-cooned, our main girl suddenly wakes up in her favorite otome game as Alicia, the story's villainess. She's now 7, so she has plenty of time to reform this problematic character. Only, she doesn't want to reform her. She wants to become the perfect antagonist. I love villainous series, and this one looks promising. Finally, the last entry on our list is Loner Life in Another World. When his entire class gets isekai'd, Haruka was the last in line when it came to select powers. So, no cheat skills for him, but when his class starts tearing itself apart, it's up to Haruka, the snarky loner, to try and help bring them together. As I said, the series in this section are ones I'm interested in. Which brings me to a question. What series are you interested in? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. There are several tiers to choose from. You can pick an anime or manga for me to do a video about, or you can join our monthly manga club. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Sean, Borgie, Nazwin, Midge, Alex, Conga, Aaron, Chris, Robert, Austin, William Pye, Turner, Triz, Kazera, Slack, Booksu, Patrick, Vox, Liam, Travis, and Naffy. You guys are awesome. I post anime or manga videos often, or you can click here to watch additional videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Musings by Danon.